Here's Breeze throwing, touchdown! Jeremy Shockey.
Manning looks in his direction. It's picked off. It's Tracy Porter again. He's running free. He's going to go all the way. Hand out stretch. It is a Saint touchdown.
Breeze is back to throw. He has Thomas running to his right. Finds the opening to the 5. He's in. Touchdown. Pierre Thomas.
The Saints have won the Super Bowl.
And that is the way we wrap up the stirring conclusion of the Series 32 and 32 on NFL Total Access. Normally, everybody gets picked apart when you win a Super Bowl, not just, I guess, in the press, but also on your roster. That said, Scott Fujita is pretty much one of the only bold-faced names that left the Saints via free agency. Scott Fujita no longer with the team. And then the team traded Jamal Brown,
who's
now a Washington Redskin.
Because of injury.
And other than that,
coaches are all intact.
And Darren Sharper, it was sort of touch and go because he had surgery, and then the word microfracture was associated with that knee surgery, which that's bad news usually. But he was re-signed. He's back with the team, and that was a much ballyhooed signing, not only in New Orleans but in the fan base of the New Orleans Saints. But that said, as we are now looking at the number one team as voted by you, the NFL.com fan and user in our 32 teams in 32 days poll, Sharper, that's a good place to start it because you're taking a look at what might be an issue for this team and repeating what a great free agent acquisition he was last year and how he wasn't on the Vikings but was on the Saints and how that all played out, as we know, in the NFC Championship game. Can he be as effective coming off of the knee surgery this year to prove such a factor defensively this year?
Well, it's a good question, Rich, because we don't know how his rehabilitation is going. It's a very difficult injury to come back from when you have microfracture surgery. Not many guys come back from it, or they come back effective. But we're talking about one of the premier playmakers on defense in this league right now, and I thought he had his best all-around year. I never saw Darren Sharper tackle like he did last year. We always show the interceptions, the runbacks for touchdowns, but he was a sure tackler. And that was always a problem in the Saints defense, was giving up big plays because of bad tackling at safety. And he really shored that up a year ago.
But add into that also getting people where they need to be. Yep. That was the big area. If you go back to the Minnesota Vikings, the area where they really struggled was on the back half. We know how strong their front seven was, but the issues have been on the back half. And I kind of liken this kind of a poor man's version of when Deion left San Francisco and went to the Dallas Cowboys. There was a shift. When he left Minnesota, there was a shift from that being the premier defense in the league, and he raised the level of play enough for the New Orleans Saints for them to be a markedly better defense.
Well, what would be a shift is if the New Orleans Saints won a playoff game this year. You take a look at recent championship teams. Steelers missed the playoffs entirely last year. The previous Super Bowl champ just went one and done. The same thing with the Colts. Back in that day as well. The Steelers missed the playoffs entirely the last two times they've won the Super Bowl. The Patriots lost a divisional game, but did win a wild card prior to that after their Super Bowl 39 win in Jacksonville. So the question for you is Sharper, Jamie Dukes, is that the one thing that you say, I don't know if they're going to be able to repeat, or it's a larger issue with this team?
There always are a couple of larger issues, but the first part of that issue does, to me, go back to Sharper, because I just believe that he was such a help on the back half. When you have a veteran guy like that who can help people line up where they're supposed to be, then you add on to that great talent. That's something else. But the other side of that also is, how do you handle being the hunted, Baldy? You know, it literally takes one guy not thinking, hey, I won the Super Bowl, and you have issues.
But they were also the hunted when they went darn near undefeated last year, too.
Every week.
And they dealt with it in Miami and also with the comebacks against the Redskins. My question for you is, let's quickly chat Reggie Bush here. On Tuesday, his Heisman Trophy was given back by USC, which also announced that they were basically expunging him from existence in Heritage Hall and in Southern California and in South Los Angeles, South Central LA. So my question for you is, do you think he's going to be able to handle some of the scorn that's going to be heaped upon him in the press and also on the road? I mean, this is a young man that's used to being loved by everybody, and now even his own school is turning its back on him right now.
Well, maybe he'll use it to his advantage here, Rich. Maybe he'll be even more focused, because let's face it, Reggie Bush touches the ball in all three phases of the game on average less than 10 times a game. Now, he makes those kind of splash plays, which gives him the national recognition and the face of the league that maybe he deserves, but he's not the focal point to that running game. I mean, Pierre Thomas is. And if you asked me, what could prevent the Saints from moving forward and going back to back, I'd say it's the running back position that's the most in question right now. And Reggie's a part of that.
But Reggie, I think still, to answer your question also, players have always done this. You use adversity as a chip to drive you. You know, for me, it was my height. Baldy, it could have been athleticism, even though I think you're a great athlete. Bad hands, a crooked finger. You always use what people say against you. That's kind of the football. I mean, think about it. How many times have we seen trumped up angst from something somebody said in the locker room? That's a number one driving force that a player uses to get himself fired up.
So where are the Saints going to finish? Let's brass tacks it.
I think they get to the playoffs, Rich. I don't think they go back to back. I think the best competition, immediate, is from the Atlanta Falcons in their own division.
I think they're in the mix again. I think they do get back to the playoffs, but it's one of those things where a lot of things have to happen for you to be successful. I think they're a playoff caliber team.
And that concludes another stirring 32-day edition of 32 teams in 32 days. Here's how the top 10 teams voted by you, the fan, went. Saints, Colts, Vikings, Jets, a top 5 team preseason according to our fan poll. Packers, Ravens, Chargers, Patriots, and Giants after the 5th-ranked Cowboys. Now, last year, let's go for some food for thought. Here's what last year. The number 1 team was the defending world champs. They missed the playoffs.
Right.
Patriots were one and done. Giants missed the playoffs. The Colts made the Super Bowl. The Eagles got rid of their flawed quarterback, right?
No, but they made a change.
The Titans started 0-6, and so on and so forth. That's why we end up having a playing season. So you think? And the year before, interestingly enough, and the Saints, by the way, in case you're wondering, they were ranked 15th.
There we go.
Last year. So that's all food for thought for you as we